Howdy, my name's Brian Foley. I'm the managing partner at Houston Criminal Defense Attorneys, PLLC. And today we are going to be going over another type of crime. It's going to be another DWI, and it's a DWI on marijuana, okay? And so this is still a DWI in Texas. We don't have a specific penal code statute that makes it illegal to smoke marijuana, be high on marijuana, and drive, but we do have the regular DWI statute under 4904 of the penal code, and that says that there are three different definitions for what intoxication means. So intoxicated could be above a 0.08 blood alcohol level. But if it's not related to alcohol, right? If we're not talking about alcohol, that drug in specific, then the 0.08, the specific number, some volume of the amount of a drug in your system, there will never be a number that is sufficient on its own for a jury to find you guilty of being intoxicated or driving while intoxicated. So there are two other definitions for intoxication, or two other ways to satisfy the intoxication element in a criminal case. That is the loss of your mental or physical faculties. The normal use is what they say. So if you have lost the normal use of your mental faculties, then that is one avenue that the state can use to try to prosecute you. If you've lost the normal use of your physical faculties because of the introduction of some drug, or really any substance, it says any substance. So if you had too much water and then you were out of it, you could not function mentally or physically properly because you had too much water, even that could be a DWI hypothetically. I think if the state realized that was the problem, they probably would not prosecute you for that, but conceivably it could be under the statute. So what does the prosecutor have to do in order to find somebody guilty of driving while intoxicated if they were smoking marijuana? Well, the first thing they're going to have to do is do an investigation. The police are going to have to do that investigation because obviously the prosecutor's not there on the side of the road. But one of the things that an officer is supposed to do if he believes that someone's under the influence of some type of drug is he should probably call to the scene an expert in drug recognition. We call that a DRE officer, a drug recognition expert officer. They have to go undergo a significant amount of training related to how different substances impair your judgment, your physical behaviors, things like that. So there are different types of drugs that will do that. One is called central nervous system depressants, or CNS depressants. Alcohol is a CNS depressant. Another type of CNS depressant is like benzodiazepines, like for example, Xanax is a benzo. But marijuana is not really doing that kind of stuff very much. There's not a whole lot of effects there. So they also have narcotic analgesics, and these are other types of drugs that will also affect your body in different ways. But marijuana is a little more nuanced. It's a little more difficult. So what most of the time happens is when a prosecutor is trying to make a decision whether to dismiss your case, whether to take it to trial, they are going to be looking at the video. And that is going to be the most important thing, is how do you look on video? Do you look like you're intoxicated? Do you look like you're high? Do you say that you're high? If you say you've been smoking recently, that's a big negative factor for us. Now, if all that's happened is you've made no statement, the officer found marijuana in the vehicle or something like that, and you were speeding, well, that's really not a whole lot of evidence of impairment or loss of your mental or physical faculties. And they cannot use your blood alone to find you guilty of this offense. They are going to have to link it to some physical or other behavior. So more so than any other type of DWI, this is the type where I would say you would definitely want to refuse to give any type of breath or blood sample. Now, you could give a breath sample if you had no alcohol at all and all you've had was smoked marijuana, because the breath alcohol detector doesn't detect anything but alcohol. It's not going to detect marijuana. But if they ask you for a blood test on a driving while intoxicated case involving drugs, probably best to refuse that. And if they don't get a warrant, you're going to be in very good shape. Because if you do consent to that blood draw, well, then they can send it to the DPS lab in Austin and then test it for drugs. And so if they get a delta 9 THC level of THC in your blood, they can argue, and they will have a forensic scientist from DPS come and tell the jury that delta 9 THC is an active version of tetrahydrocannabinol, and it could be affecting your system. Then they would look to the video and determine whether it was in fact affecting your system. But it's much worse when the state has blood evidence showing an active delta 9 THC. Now, if all they have on the lab report is what's called THC metabolite, that means that somebody's been smoking marijuana recently, but it is not an active version of tetrahydrocannabinol. And so that would be very difficult, I think, for a prosecutor to argue. If all you had was THC metabolite in your system, it'd be very hard to argue that it was affecting your mental or physical faculties. Because again, a metabolite is not an active, or at least THC metabolite is not an active agent that's going to affect your mental and physical faculties. So that is sort of the skinny on DWI with marijuana. Now, a lot of the same factors we discuss in every DWI case apply. Ways that the blood was maybe taken improperly, different problems with the reasonable suspicion for the traffic stop, and we go over those in some of the other videos. But if you've been charged with driving while intoxicated and they're alleging that you used marijuana, well, these are some of the issues that your case is likely to face at some point. Thanks for tuning in. If you liked what you see, like and subscribe. Give us a review on Google if you are interested in giving us a 5-star review. We always appreciate those. And thanks very much.